This is Salmonus, and I'm just going to go over the components of our build before we get into the video. The processor is an i5-6600 Skylake processor. The motherboard is an ASRock Z170 Pro 4, which now with BIOS updates allows you to overclock non-K Intel chips. The RAM is G.SKILL Ripjaws V series, 2 8GB sticks at 3200 megahertz. Video card is EVGA GTX 970, 4 gigabytes with that. The power supply is a RAID Max Vampire RX 800, that's the 800 watt model. The boot drive is a Samsung 850 EVO, 250 gigabytes. The storage drive is a Seagate Barracuda 2 terabyte drive, and that is a 7200 RPM drive. The Wi-Fi is the TP-Link Archer series. It's an AC 1750. The case is a Cooler Master Storm Striker white case. It does come with LED lit fans, just 2. The keyboard was a Tesoro keyboard. The body's all aluminum. It does have backlighting, and it had the blue Cherry MX switches. The mouse is the Tesoro Shrike, 7 or 8 button mouse, I can't remember. And then the operating system is Windows 10. Total cost when purchased was a little over $2,000, as you can see. And now the build video. As always, if you have comments, leave them below. Like, dislike, and subscribe. So, again, you want to leave the plastic on there. We'll get the processor open here. Alright, now if you look, you'll see there's a little arrow. Is it focused? Mm-hmm. Alright, there's a little arrow on your processor that represents which corner. If you can see right here, there's a white arrow, and then also there's 2 notches to make sure that you do not put it in incorrectly. And you're just going to want to drop it right into place as straight down as you can. Just kind of move it side to side, make sure it's sitting down all the way. Then you're going to put it in, and then you are going to bring it down and over. And our motherboard, or processor, sorry, is in place. Now, as you could hear when I seated it, there's a little creaking. It's pretty typical. The last several that I've built, they've all done it. There's never been any problems with it, so don't worry about that sound, even though it makes you cringe. Thermal compound. I find, and I've done some research, really, you just want to use the P method. It's about the one that does the best job. So, about the size of a pea. Might even be a little much there. Alrighty. So we're going to flip this around, and you can see the stock cooler's got the easy push, lock into place. And then, again, this is a 6600 i5 core, and I just want to see where I got the header for the fan, so I can, no, I'll have to go this way. Alright, then you want to go straight down, like so, and then you're just going to cross pattern, and I want to just get a glance here and see if I got any seepage, and I don't, so that should be just what we need. Now I'm going to plug in our fan header, and what we'll be doing is, before we put this into the case, we'll be hooking up the power supply, hooking up a monitor, and making sure that it does post. Alright, don't need that quite yet. Now the memory that we're using is Ripjaws 3200 megahertz memory. I got 2 8-gig sticks for a total of 16 gigabytes. I find that really, unless you're trying to do rendering and that kind of stuff, 16 gigabytes if you're just doing gaming, 16 is more than enough. I gotta find. Alright, A1B1. Open these up. Just one side. Slide it down into place. Now typically, this is DDR4 memory. This is DDR4 memory, and typically when you first set it up and you boot it up, it's not set at your the hertz that you bought the memory at. Usually I think last time it was like 1600 or something like that. I can't remember, but you'll have to manually enter in your hertz for your memory. Alright. So the two we need, a lot of times you got to connect this. Usually most of them are 20 plus 4. And just get that. Alright. Dang it. There we go. I don't know what its problem was, but now it's green. Alright, so we got that plugged in. After the power supply, we connected the monitor. This is going to be... Oh, I held it on too long. Alright, let's see if she posts. And DVI, there we go. Here's our BIOS. So it posts. Now that we know that, we can get everything else off the table, strip this down, install the motherboard, and get all the components in the case. Go. Ready? Alright, so first thing we're going to do, put our backplate in. We're just going to go right back here. Just make sure that you put it in the right orientation. Otherwise you're going to have to pop it back out and try again. Alrighty. Easy enough. So, since they were awesome enough to include the filter for the power supply, we're going to mount it with the fan down, which is also going to give us a nice visual of the Vampire logo. So that's a bonus. It slides right in there. And here I'm just installing the mounting screws for the power supply. One thing to note, when I use the screwdriver to screw in the screws, I like to back off to just using 2 fingers when I get them snug, just so I don't over tighten and strip out the threads. Here we installed the spacer screws for the motherboard mounting, and you can see that highlighted in the blue circles. And here we're just getting the motherboard into position and then installing the mounting screws. Here I routed and then installed the power cables from the power supply to the motherboard. Here I installed the connectors for the audio and then the power and reset buttons on the front of the case. And lastly, I connected the USB ports to the front of the case. Here is our 250 gigabyte Samsung solid state drive for a boot drive, which I installed into the 2.5 inch rack that they had on the base of the case. And to do this, I removed the rack from the case, installed the drive, and then reinstalled the rack into the case. With our 970 graphics card, backplate was included. It was not installed, so we had to install it ourselves. You remove the board's mounting screws, and then you install the backplate, and then install new screws, which are longer, for the backplate. Here I am just installing and securing the graphics card into place. Alright,
There we go.
next thing we're going to do is the Wi-Fi card, which should line up right with the slot.
I thought we were doing the bottom one.
What?
I thought we were doing the bottommost one.
It is.
Oh, we can't do the other two?
Nope. So now, hopefully,
You just showing the Wi-Fi card?
here's the Wi-Fi card. Heatsink, 3 antennas.
10A.
I like to put the antennas on first because that allows me to get in there and tighten them down, what I would call tighten them down properly. And boom, she's up.
Just like that.
It's just barely, if you look here, look with the camera, not with your eyes. It just barely cleared that. What are you doing?
They can't see it.
You're looking at the video card, that's why. There we go. There you go. It just barely cleared that. It's like right there. Alright, so cable management. We used white zip ties on the black cords because my nephew thought it'd look nice.
Your mom thought it looked nice.
She might.
Who?
Your
Joy's
mom.
mom.
Alright. So here's the other side.
He's been talking like that.
Oh, no, really?
He has.
Alright, so
like
here's
half
our
his
other
video.
side.
God.
I would know. I've been recording it.
I might stick a zip tie. I mean, you want a zip tie there?
Oh, it's fine with me. It's fine like that.
That's fine like that.
It's fine like that. Wait, it says words on it.
Yeah, cool master.
Because it is the master of cools.
We're done with the build. As you can see right now, he's got Guild Wars playing on the monitor. You can kind of see his setup here. It's actually kind of hard to, here's the keyboard that he's got. It's a Tesoro keyboard. I'll actually have links for it in the build, but it's got a nice aluminum case. The mouse is also a Tesoro. Comes with the weights that you can put in the tray and then in the bottom of the mouse, give it a heavier feel. I usually put all the weights in. I like a really heavy mouse. You got the mouse pad. Again, here's the 4K monitor. It does have built-in speakers, which aren't the greatest, but at the moment, anything's better than nothing. So we got this desk I did build for him. It's got a notched out the tabletop here to allow the cables to go through. Underneath, it's got the shelf for the tower, which does have LED lighting. Here's inside the case. You got your GTX 970 there, cooler, RAM, Wi-Fi card, power supply. Around the front here, you got all the bays here for added drives, and then there's also this little cubby hole in the front. You can pop off the cover. And there's a nice little tray right here where you can keep case hardware that you didn't use. So if you expand later, you got all the hardware you need. Just a little bit about the desk. I did build it myself out of what I had sitting in the basement of my house. I had some stain, I had some polyurethane. So I used some mortise and tenon joints in here. They are just 2x4s, but I think it went together fairly nice. I don't have any kind of mortise or tenon cutter, so I had to do it by hand. The mortises anyway, the tenons I just did on a table saw. But turned out pretty well. Put, I think it's 4 coats of polyurethane on the top to finish it off. It is just pine plywood, but with the dark stain I think it turned out pretty nicely. It's kind of hard to see with the lighting, but here, maybe I can turn that off. Anyway, so that's the final build. Again, keyboard, mouse, 4K monitor, tower down to the right. The chair is something I also had in my basement. I just sanded it down and put some new coats of polyurethane on it. Cleaned up pretty nice. It's a pretty old chair. Obviously not the most comfortable. Here I just wanted to see a comparison between the 970 and the 960 graphics card. I ran a test on the last build that I did. They had the 960, and then I ran a test on this one, which had the 970. You'll see that they're both in 1080p. I did not run the 970 in 4K, as the copy of Unigen I had doesn't allow me to do that. But as you can see, here's the difference between the two cards.